So the next presenter will be from ARC Advisory Group, Ms. Shruti Gandhi, Analyst ARC. As part of the automation consulting team, Shruti has demonstrated her expertise in automation technologies, including DCS, SCADA, process safety, MES, and field instruments, such as temperature and pressure transmitters. I request Shruti to come on the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. A lot of you have directly or indirectly mentioned the importance of energy management in industry over the last yesterday and today. I would like to actually present the findings of a recent survey that ARC conducted on energy management in India. We intended to find out where the users stand in their initiative, what the suppliers have to offer, where do they think the users stand, to see if whether the user and supplier demands and motivation are in line or not. Hopefully through the survey, you all will get a little more insight on the scenario in India. Also, many of the participants of this survey are in the audience today, so I would like to thank you all for participating. You'll see the results now. Energy management, briefly, well, it refers to automation spanning from metering to the ERP level, from product sales to solution businesses. And the goal of energy management is to make production more energy efficient, which we refer to as passive energy management, and then also to enable the user to react to changes in the electricity and commodity pricing by adjusting the production, which we refer to as active energy management. Some of the key trends observed in energy management are big energy data. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So that's all that needs to be said about it. Having energy management at the machine level and actually integrating your solutions into the controller, cogeneration, demand response. A recent example of demand response was last year when Delhi implemented an automated demand response system to deal with their peak load time during the summers. Integration and decoupling, use of local renewables, and then of course regulatory compliance, the performance achieved rate scheme and ISO 50001. 2016 actually marks the beginning of the second cycle of the performance achieved rate scheme, wherein now there are 11 sectors which fall under the scheme. They also include refineries, they include electricity discoms and railways, and now there are about 950 facilities that are covered under the scheme. To tell you a little something about the survey, this survey started early this year, and it's still open. Up until now, we've had 92 participants. We asked them close to 30 questions, 2 questions for the company classification, a separate set of questions for the users, and a separate set of questions for the suppliers. As you can see, we had a healthy mix on the size of companies, practically a quarter each from all company sizes, those having below 100 employees to those having more than 5,000 employees in their organization. The supplier sample comprised mostly, not a surprise there, of process industries, followed by discrete industries at 37% and hybrids at around 31%. And the company type included suppliers and users and also energy management professionals. Around 55% of our sample included users. The top industries in this survey were the energy intensive industries mostly. Automotive, metals and mining, oil and gas, machinery, chemicals and petrochemicals, electric power, and cement and glass, which goes to show the interest in energy management being obviously in the more energy intensive industries. This figure here shows the maturity curve of energy management adoption within a company. It shows the level of market development, and at the same time it can provide a guidance for starting and developing energy management. The first stage is metering, wherein meters are installed, and at this stage, energy is measured only through either single or multiple meters, plant-wide. The next stage would be visualization, which is on top of the meters, where at this stage you have visualization of your energy data. On top of this installed base of visualization, historians and all are used to analyze this data, and at the end of this stage, you have analyzed data harmonized across your plant site. Moving on, you have real-time monitoring, which is based on the analysis of this data which is being reported. A real-time reporting system is set up where you get alerts as to what is happening. However, the reaction is still not automatic. It has to be done by the operator. And the next stage on top of this would be optimization, wherein based on the data, the energy consumed is actually integrated in the APC, in the control architecture. And at the end of this stage, this is done for all the plants. Moving on to the final stage, which we would call enterprise-wide optimization. All industries are at a different stage on this maturity curve, and typically savings will tend to slow down once a particular technology matures, motivating the company to jump to the next level of maturity. We asked our users what the status of their energy management initiative was. While you can see that many companies have just started to seriously investigate or implement an energy management solution on site, you also see an increasing number actually already having individual program at individual plants, or even having harmonized programs across multiple sites. These companies are the ones who are probably the first movers in adopting these techniques, and they kind of, you can say, pluck the low-hanging fruit, and they now seek to implement more advanced and sophisticated energy management products and solutions. We asked our users what the impact of energy management was on their investment decisions, according to industry. What's good to see is that no one said it has no impact, so everyone's thinking about it, whether it's an energy-intensive company, industry, or not. What is a very obvious observation is all the energy-intensive industries, the impact of energy management on decision was quite high, ranging from 80 to 90%. That's how important it is for them. We asked our users what was the energy per output saved over the last 5 years vis-a-vis what they plan to save in the next 5 years. And what's really interesting to see here is, irrespective of where the industry is on the maturity curve, the targets tend to increase. It really doesn't have much of a correlation with the maturity curve. And the targets will tend to increase because there's always going to be constant growth, constant development, projects are getting more challenging, and people will look for sustainable savings now. As you can see, companies that have saved around, say, 5 to 10% over the last 5 years, that number has shifted to people wanting to save 10 to 15%, and so on and so forth. We also asked our suppliers what their expected growth was in sales of energy management products and solutions. It averaged out to be a conservative 10%, but a huge 41% say it's going to be even more than 10%. The top industries, the market for these products are obviously the energy-intensive industries, the oil and gas, water, wastewater, cement and glass, electric power, metals and mining, and chemicals and petrochemicals. Moving on to audits and monitoring, we asked about the frequency of energy management audits on site, and we got the following response. It was actually quite surprising to see that 1 in 5 responses either did not perform an audit or weren't aware of such a procedure going on at their site. And this is in a time when energy is such an important cost driver. Another quarter of the responses carry out their audits within 2 to 5 years, and a healthy 45% carry out their audits once a year or even more than once a year. And how is energy being monitored and controlled? Majority of them still monitor their energy using single or multiple meters, that's 25.4%. Only 20% have it integrated in their control, and around 40% have indirect integration, either through MES, ERP, or doing it manually. What's good to see was that very few didn't know that how it was being deployed. We asked our users what their energy costs are as a share of their variable costs. You can see that there are some industries where energy is the largest cost variable. We have 8.1% saying that it's more than 50% of their variable costs, 25 to 50% saying it's around 13% of their variable costs. But then again, financial incentive does vary. Volatile energy costs are a threat to the bottom line. However, for some industries, it's not the most important topic. For example, in the discrete industries, cost will not be so important. To further drill this point down, we asked them to what level were they able to assign their energy costs, whether they would be able to assign it to a plant, to a business unit or department, to an individual product, to a single batch, a single operator shift, to a single production step. We could see that around 32% were able to assign their cost to a plant and a single unit or department, but when you go further down, the penetration decreases. These are the ARC recommendations for different industries of what energy costs as a share of variable cost should be. I just thought I'd include that. We asked our users what are the main motivators for our targets to deploy an energy management initiative. And as you can see, cost is definitely the most important target. However, if you look at it, more than 60% are directly related to reducing current consumption, reduction of energy costs, optimizing the process, or planning future consumption. And around 15% were related to external factors, such as complying with power factors, avoiding penalties and price fluctuations, and scheduling with suppliers. What was encouraging to see was that enabling sustainable products ranked in the top 3 reasons for people to invest in energy management solutions. This next slide is kind of a favorite of mine. In an era of hyper competition, suppliers have to fulfill the customer demands. So we asked our suppliers and users to evaluate these technologies according to their potential to lower energy costs. It gives us a good picture of whether the user expectations are in line with supplier motivation or not. And for the main motives like energy measurement or using more efficient motors, more or less in line. But for other user motives, such as use of AC drives or planning with MES software, there seems to be a lack of common ground. Suppliers think that planning with MES software is probably the primary step that the users are looking for, but actually that figures 4th in their priority chain. Coming down to some recommendations and strategies. Without a doubt, an energy management strategy is necessary to deploy an efficient and an effective energy management solution. And to define this strategy, you need to develop a picture of where you stand today, your current energy consumption level. You need to start with interviews, not jump to installations. There needs to be a brainstorming stage. You need to outline only the areas where you have high energy consumption level, address those first. Define easy corrective actions. By that I mean like start with the low-hanging fruits. Target high-growth industries, the high-growth process industries. Keep an eye on regulations. And obviously, you need to have a continuous check on your targets and achievements. Energy management is a continuous process. Some solution that you employ today, you have to go back to it, see what benefits you're getting out of it. Is it efficient or not? You might have to start from scratch again. So it is a continuous process. And this means that it will affect your company structure and the way your company works. It has to have support of the top management. The biggest challenge would probably be to change the mentality of the operators and the plant staff. And also understand that this has to be a long-term initiative. You cannot have deploy a product or a solution once and think that it's all taken care of. It's a continuous process. ARC categorizes the suppliers offering these kind of solutions into all-rounders, motors and drive specialists, measurement specialists, and software companies. As you can see, they all offer energy management solutions. So what would the users go for? And the answer we got was that it really depends on the scope. Users are open to any of these suppliers. It's very specific to the scope they have at hand. It's very specific to the industry that they operate within. A lot of users, especially in India, in-house solutions seem to be very popular, but a growing trend is that with the suppliers coming out with more sophisticated and easy to use solutions, users are looking at suppliers and possibly at off-the-shelf solutions. With that, I end my presentation. I did not present the results of all the questions asked in this survey. The survey is still open in case any of you are interested. I can send you all a link. And if you participate, you get a free copy of the survey results as well. So thank you so much.